George was the youngest of the 5 Ball brothers. He was the baby of the family, and he was a very shrewd businessman, and he made an investment, independent of his investments in Ball Corporation, that paid off very well. And he found himself the owner of this vast network of companies that ended up being quite valuable. When he sold that network of companies, he took the proceeds and put them into a separate foundation, which he called the George and Frances Ball Foundation. That was in 1937. When Mr. Ball was alive, he passed away in 1955. The plants were going strong. Corporate headquarters were here, and as far as he was concerned, I'm sure they were going to be here forever. Of course, that changed, and the plant closed, and the corporate headquarters moved, and the plants, many of them, most of them, left town. When I got back here, I could see that this change had taken place, and that many of the grants we were making outside of this community really needed to be evaluated closely. But really the focus has come back to Muncie, which needs reinvestment, and the foundations are in a unique position to provide that. A foundation is really an investor in the community. The returns of a foundation, however, are non-financial, because if they were financial, then it would be a business. Then we would make investments and we would reap a financial return, and it would be a profitable business. But the returns of a foundation are non-financial. They are community enhancements, they're enhancements in the population, the livability of the community. They're very important. Muncie needs to work on its first impression so that people come through town and they immediately see that it's a great community. What I hope to do is to make those great things much more front and center so that people will see them on their first pass through town. When George created the foundation, he created it with very broad parameters. Its charter was to make charitable donations. Higher education has always been one of the foundation's biggest priorities. We look after the basic needs of people, food, clothing, and shelter. Then we also address the needs of primary students, elementary students, early learners, birth through age 5 in particular. So basically the whole learning process, education from birth through college graduation. Youth development, we focus on that. And then community enhancement, things like arts and culture, parks, things that somebody looking at Muncie as a possible place to live, perhaps move a business to. We want to make sure that Muncie shows well in that respect, and we bring that investment, because really to reverse the effects of many of the past decades, we need businesses to move here and provide jobs. I hope that our foundation is able to make the appropriate investments in the Muncie community so that it can have a maximum return, which means the community will be lifted up. We will be able to attract residents, talented residents. People will seek to live here and start their businesses here, have families here, move their companies if they're looking for a place to relocate. Muncie needs to be a place that compares favorably to other communities in Indiana and across the Midwest and across the nation.